Wonder Woman 2009 follows the aftermath of the battle between the god of war Ares and the queen of the Amazons Hippolyta. But essentially, this is a Wonder Woman origin story. And as somebody who really doesn't have a lot of awareness in terms of Wonder Woman's lore, I think this does a really, really good job. For the most part, all I've seen Wonder Woman in is stuff related to either Superman or Batman. And I never really got to know who she is and what her ambitions are. I think every other time she's just been painted as this person who's fighting for women's rights, basically. And I think as much as that's good to know and that's really a part of her lore, it's nice to see where everything really started from. Like, speaking of her, like, I think she's super handled well here. You can see how she was birthed, all the trials and tribulation that she has gone through, and why she is so interested or so invested in going into the outside world. I think what this movie does well is paint a really good picture of why the Amazons really hate men. It's not just some pro-feminist thing that came out of nowhere. It's basically like, hey, a lot of men came to their land and wiped out a lot of their men and threatened their livelihood. I now walk away from this movie seeing Diana's anger and frustrations about men, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Now I understand fully. It's not just men are evil type thing for the sake of it. It's, hey, if my mom didn't step up, we would literally be gone, like off the face of the earth. The dark side of man is real and we should be wary of it. And the central antagonist to Diana is Ares, right? Who, for the most part, is really just trying to grow strong enough to take over Olympus. For a long time, I didn't get that from him. I thought all he really wanted was pure destruction, but it seems that pure destruction and the world being at war powers him up, and then the power he will have, he will use to take over Olympus. When he said that, I was like, okay, cool. Now I'm a little bit more invested. But throughout the entire movie, I was like, bro, what exactly is your game plan? Because if you're saying you just want to destroy things for the sake of it, then that's a bit boring, to be honest. But I will say one thing. In terms of threat level, I think he's slightly mishandled because I never believed that he's going to win. In the sense that when he's first defeated in the beginning of the movie, I'm like, oh, the only reason you're still alive is because the gods above intervened. But low key, like, the Amazons can take you. And to make things worse, he summons an army right towards the end in order to take over the earth, or rather destroy it. But objectively speaking, the way the earth has advanced, like, we could take up low key. I'm just saying, humanity in this world, like the weaponry is so advanced that an army of the dead or an army of demons who literally just have swords and stuff can easily be taken out. Like, the Amazons literally keep up, to the point where Ares himself has to summon the dead Amazons in order to, stay in the battle. I'm just saying, I look at this and I'm saying, bruh, not really a threat. Like, the central conflict essentially just feels meh. There's another character here who is named Trevor, a pilot who crash lands on Themyscira and basically helps fire up Diana's curiosity about the world beyond Themyscira. And I get it, right? He's supposed to act as a sort of like love interest-ish, like entry into the man's world and sort of challenge Diana's notions about men and see that, oh, hey, there are good men out there. And I value that. However, I do think there's one thing that throws me off about him, and that is this scene where he's fighting Ares, him and Diana, and he has the chance to stop Ares or save Diana, and he chooses to save Diana. And at the end of it, when he's asked, why would you do that? He's like, yo, man, I care about you too deeply. In my head, I'm like, bro, you barely know her. I'm just saying, his connection to Diana in this feels fast-tracked. So half the things he does, you're like, there's no person who should be doing this for somebody they knew for a couple of hours. It does not make sense. That's how I feel about you. But other than that, all the other characters kind of sort of do the same thing, right? They serve some sort of theme regarding the conflict between man and woman. especially the lady who pretty much betrays the Themyscira. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yes, we are a warrior nation, but women can desire, being a mother and having a love. Everything else is pretty much DC standard stuff, right? Like the action is pretty cool. The animation does not disappoint. And the music really doesn't stand out, but it's a cool backdrop towards all the action that's happening in here. I will say though, the whole Ares going to Hades thing, and then eventually you found out it was a ploy in order to make him a slave. I feel like that's a cool twist. But then again, it does confirm what I felt about him, which is he was always going to lose. He was never really a threat. Good movie, good lore on Wonder Woman, and a good jumping point in order to kind of sort of follow her. And honestly, I think we need more of this.